Hamptons, Paul thought it was a chance to audition to be an Abercrombie model.
You know, I was told that there could be some things that were not your normal interview. However, this is your chance. You're not going to get another one like this. And I was given Abercrombie and Fitch.
I don't like that. I mean, imagine a young kid who he just wants to get put on, which I realize that's not the way to go about it. You got to put yourself on, right? But when you're 18, 19 in your youth, and you're just hoping that someone can give you a shot to get your dream job or whatever, and then you're presented with the dirtbag offer.